People, people. People lie. People lie all the time. People lie about the most shitty things ever and think they get away with it, but they don't. I have so many examples. Like my neighbor, for instance, I wanted to get rid of some furniture, so I offered the furniture to him for free. And he said to me, "No, I don't have room for any more furniture," which he has, because I've been inside his home and he doesn't have much. He has a lot of space. So he could have said, "No, thank you. I do not wish to receive furniture from you or anybody. I'm not interested in furniture." But he said that I don't have any space for it, which may sound trivial, but what he's doing is that he's lying to himself. He's bullshitting himself. And this is the way people live their lives. People are so afraid of being honest in relation to themselves that they create these small kind of bullshit lies. Why? Why do they do that? This thing with the furniture was not such a big deal. He didn't have to say that. He didn't have to communicate like that. He could have said just as it was. No problem at all. Why people do this is because they are in protection of greater lies. They are lying about something more deep and more important in relation to maintaining a false self-perception, which makes them lie about trivial, shitty, bullshit things. And the main lie that people have, the majority of people lie to themselves about being worthy for living. People believe that they are on the planet Earth as to be punished and to live in agony, as to one day receive freedom and liberty by dying, which is the greatest misconception of all created by religion. Because you are supposed to enjoy life. You are not supposed to suffer, but you suffer from your own lies. And you create these trivial bullshit lies on top of the greatest treasure that you have, that you sit on but never open, which is a treasure chest, but in reality is the open heart. The heart knows, the heart is love. The heart does not calculate and evaluate. It's not rational and logical. The heart knows, always. You cannot lie to love. It's impossible. The only thing that happens is that you choke the flow of what is meant for you, being a natural recipient of more life. That's what happens. If you take care of the core issue, then the rest will fall. The rest will fall off. So this is a manifestation in regards to one individual, but it's also the manifestation of the entire human race. Because the entire human race is walking on their knees on broken glass, feeling sorry for living, which has its origin at the core issue. Because we feel angry and we feel sad, and this is a ping pong between that and superficially, momentarily successful, as in a pay raise or some form of performance acknowledgement. But what we seek is to feel good about ourselves, enjoying our life, which is not really possible if you don't feel worthy for living. And most people will say, I think I'm worthy of living, I think I deserve, but that doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter at all. It is what you feel. And what you feel is inside your heart, and the heart knows. So you can think whatever. You can think a lot of things. You can think that you are successful. You can think that you are deserving. You can think. But what do you feel? When people answer that like that, super quick, which is a thought. It's just another defensive thought. And that defense is self-defense in relation to what is needed as to break free. So what are we defending ourselves from? Oh, please, no more pleasure. No. Please don't hurt me. Yes. We protect ourselves from pain. And as this is all about you and all about your life, you are protecting yourself from pain, which is felt in relation to truth. Because truth is what it is. It's not an opinion, so it's not really an argument. It's not really a definition. It's what it is. And we really have a hard time believing that joy and happiness is effortless. That life, to be enjoyed in pleasure, comes to us as we do not block it. But we are so focused on being comfortable and making ourselves happy from the outside in that we do not stop to feel. And thus we interact with superficial consumption as to make ourselves happy. But that's not true, because it's in relation to the consumption. And when the consumption is over, we're miserable again. So what we need is to have a general state of being, which is effortless joy. And just being is not questioning. And questioning makes for judgment. And judgment in relation to self becomes contradictory, as self is free. And self is you alone, aware but not engaged, just being. Most people do not experience this, as they just continue on, move about, consume, interact, engage, judge, and lie most of the day. And this behavior makes for cheating, because you're cheating on your own love, which you is. You and love is one. When you take your finger and point at yourself, you don't point here. Here I am. Here I am. This is what I have. So you need to affirm yourself as self. And then you have myself, my space. It's your personality. But you isness, love, energy, soul, God, awareness, pure, non-conceptual, unconditional energy, which is by nature all positive possibility, and therefore cannot be against itself. So when you lie, you go against what gives, and you engage what takes, and you lose. So there is no way to cheat yourself. I think a lot of people go through their entire life maybe croaking at 87 and never ever during those 87 years sit down, focus on their breathing with their energy and attention in their heart space, and saying I love you and saying thank you. And people make that into for what? And that's very ungrateful. That's not humble. For what? For living, for having a life. Your next breath is not what's keeping you alive. It's your next heartbeat. Because all is love. Comes from and stems back to love. So your heartbeat pumps the blood, which makes its way to your brain that takes care of all the automatic functionality of digestion, blinking, breathing. So that's secondary to the primary superiority of the unconditional love, which is in your chest. That's the treasure, which we call God. God is love. Love is God, without any separation. You cannot lie to love. You cannot lie to God, and everything will get sorted as long as you do what's right for yourself, which is to free yourself from condemnation. And that can only happen by being honest officially to self alone. You don't have to be official as in, oh, I'm gonna go to the town square today and tell everybody about every mistake I've ever done and every kind of shitty interaction. You need to confess to self, which is all giving and all forgiving, which means that you cannot be punished. But as you hold on to this, as you hold on to lies, it will seem like society is punishing you. But that is all your own creation, because you get what you give. The universe is a universal response of all giving unconditional energy, which responds on the communication of the general state of feeling that you maintain inside of you. So if you are not clear about yourself in your own consciousness, then you have a guilty consciousness, guilty conscience. And if that guilt is ignored and tried to be hidden, then all hell breaks loose relative to what you're holding. So you need to lose. You need to lose as to gain. And what you want to gain is complete freedom of feeling worthy and being deserving of all, for doing right. And when you have done that, there is a season of fruition, which is annual, and that is now. That's springtime. And if it does not come to fruition, if it's not being an experienced manifestation outside of you, it means that you have some more to deal with, and you will get another chance next year. So the inner work in honesty and truth, in humility, releasing resistance, coming to the core of your being, affirming yourself as true light and love, without taint, which is judgment, will inevitably become a great experience outside of you when done for real, as you cannot cheat and hide anything. What makes it happen is not the super talented psychologist teaching you. It is you communicating with yourself, because you know all of your own bullshit in relation to other people and in relation to how you conduct yourself, if you truly are positive or negative. If you say that you are true and light and love, and that will give the best universal response given your general state of feeling and comprehension, which is your self-perception, then what's the deal? You don't have to ask anybody outside of you. You ask yourself. You communicate with yourself every day. And you ask. You can say, dear God. You can say, dear universe. You can say, my precious love. Oh, my love. You can say whatever. You can call your brain Yasta. You can call God Muhammad. You can call, it doesn't matter. God is non-conceptual, unconditional, pure, aware consciousness, light energy. So it doesn't need anything. And it doesn't make any claims to achievements and performances other than you making things right for yourself. And as you do that for a majority of other people as well, to become a source of inspiration, then that should pay off. If it doesn't pay off, then that's a very sick society. It's not you. If you do right for yourself, then things turn out all right. If everybody does right for themselves, then it turns out all right. When you ask, what can I do as of right now as to get rid of resistance? What can I do as of right now as to make things more clear in relation to myself? How can I comprehend the human experience more? and affirm myself as a true light being, then you will get instructed, then you will be guided, and you will receive some intuitive indications as to take a look at this and maybe turn that around, or end that relationship and maybe initiate that relationship, and make some music, record this video, and you move with the intent of becoming free, because that's the soul, that's the nature of the soul, which you is without separation. You is soul. You don't have a soul. You are a soul being of pure, conscious, non-conceptual and unconditional loving energy, which is the definition of the image of God. Because God is the same. It's like you are a mini sun and God is the grand central sun. And then we are out and about in the universe as astral beings, having missions on Earth as to transform dark energy which do not belong in a peaceful, natural, loving environment. But we invite everything. We make an invite to connect with what we desire. So where does the dark energy leak in? From complaining. It's from complaining about life instead of doing what's right in regards to the inner work and freeing yourself from the inside out. Then we complain about the outside. And as we complain, it becomes in relation to the core issue, which is thanking life, thanking God for being alive, for having a human experience. And thus we make the demon. And the more people do this, the more dark invitations happen. And eventually we have so much to deal with that people are suffering in situations and circumstances like war, when children are being starved and freezing to death and being shot in the head. And it's also a part of the general misconception of love is all we need, and we desire it and we want more of it, but we make very destructive choices as to get that when we cannot separate between love and sex, and sexual abuse happens in all shapes and forms. It's all energy. People need to understand this, that it's all an investment in what we wish to receive or not. Because God is all giving and all forgiving. It's just, here you go. So if you ask for more terrible things come. But I don't ask for that. I want to live a happy life and enjoy my family and live well and eat good and live under the sun and maybe go swimming sometimes and don't have to worry about the butter prices. Yeah, but where is your focused attention? This is what I don't want. This is what I want. So if this is what I do not desire, and I focus on that, oh, this is so terrible, and things are going to hell, and things are just getting worse, and oh my God, the butter prices, and the lake is about to dry up, and the soil is not producing vegetables. And if you just focus on the negative, then you are inviting more of it, because you are giving your energy to it. So the thoughts and the ideas about what it is doesn't mean anything to God, because God is just all giving, unconditional, non-conceptual, conscious, aware energy that cannot be stopped. So as you invite this, as you focus with your negative attitude, then you receive more of it, which is a necessary thing. It's necessary evil. Because how else will you become aware of contrast, of pleasure and pain? So it's like you start to cut yourself very lightly with a knife, coming through the first layer of the skin, and you feel that, and it's not pleasurable, it's painful. And then you continue on, and you get so much indication of, well, this is now it's starting to bleed, and that's not good because I need blood. And then you hit the bone, and you go through the muscle and the nerves, and then you cannot move your fingers anymore because your nerves are now cut off. So the hand is just like, it's not functional anymore. And then you continue on, and you realize that you're through the bone now, and going through the nerves and the muscles on the other side, and eventually your arm is off. Like, it's, you should have listened somewhere along the way and not continued to cut off your own arm. And that's complaining. That's keeping your investment in what you do not desire. God can only say yes and cannot listen to this is what I do not desire. God is non-judgmental. God just gives. So God is just like, this is a person who really wants to lose their arm, and just continues to give you the energy and possibility as to make that dream come true. Because it's a dream come true, obviously, as energy is at our disposal as to use from an attitude given, creating our attitude and conductivity, which makes for things to be manifested. So we get what we give. It's hard to focus on this as in what we really want, and to see that in front of you and to dream about it with a hell of a lot of resistance. So it's a really good thing to ask to get rid of resistance and to clear your conscience inside of you together with everybody, as to lose what is holding us back, which is lie, and this is true, and this is dark, and this is light, and this is fear, and this is love, and this is undesirable, this is desirable, this is nightmare, this is dream. So you cannot cheat yourself, and you cannot take all of this and put it in the lap of the politician. That's highly irresponsible, and everybody else suffers, and this is just immature behavior. But if you watch this video and you really listen to what I say, because this is not an opinion, it's universal creation. And you, my friend, is God, and I is God, and we is God. Because we are created in the image, which are multiple perspectives of uniqueness, which makes for God to experience itself. And thus it collects feelings and experiences of various nuance, which is always new, as the unique expression is experiencing something uniquely all the time, because everything is new. And thus it grows and becomes more and expands the universe, because the universe is always expanding and becoming more, which includes the darkness. And the darkness is pressure, because the nuclear fusion happening, creating a sphere of energy like a sun or a star needs to be held in some way, and that's the negative energy. So you can imagine the power of a sun or a star in relation to how much darkness there is. So the light is so much more powerful. But as the universe expands, it also becomes more pressurized as in relation to the dark energy, and also in harmony with the light expanding from new experiences. And this is how everything works. And we can be a part of that, as to live with pleasure. This is my life, this is my pleasure. I have the pleasure to wake up. I have the pleasure to enjoy all kinds of weather. I have the pleasure to see the good in things. I have the pleasure to help you. I have the pleasure to make myself aware and to make the world aware. I have the pleasure to do what's right and not fight, as to bring on the light and fly high with a kite, maybe on a vacation. But you cannot lie. You just cannot lie. You cannot get away with lying. And the more you lie, the more you bring on a world of hurt. The more truthful you are, the more a world of love is available to be enjoyed in pleasure. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. I love you. Bye.